Thanks for tuning in to After Dark with me, DocJ. Put the kids to sleep, light a candle, and let's get ready for some deep and exciting conversation. You've now entered my zone. Let's go.
Hey everybody, I am back. So, I was traveling all last week and I was just kind of all over the place. So now I'm kind of settling in and getting ready for another new week. You guys ready for another new week? Because I am actually looking forward to it. So, anyway, tonight we're going to get started. For those of you who haven't been with us all week long, we've been doing Lady J, or I should say Doc J. I got to get used to the names. So I've been doing After Dark with Doc J, and we've been talking about things that people think about, but they don't say. I'll put it like that because a lot of people have things on their mind, but they just don't talk about it. So I've created this quiet zone where we can come together at night. We can sit down and we can talk for a little bit about some of the things that we think about. Maybe it's something that you're thinking about doing and you're not quite sure if you should mention it or do it. I don't know. You're just not sure. So you don't try. So tonight we're going to talk about it. And again, like I've been saying every night, it is a no judgment zone. How you feel is how you feel. I'm not here to tell you if you're right or wrong. We're just here to have a discussion. So do me a favor, like you have been doing. Thank you so much for the past week. You guys have been sharing the videos. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. That's what I'm doing right now. I want to make sure that I share it and let people know that we're on. So if they want to join us, they can. So I hope everybody's had a good weekend. I hope you have, um, been able to get out and do some of the things that you wanted to do today. If not, next weekend, we got another weekend coming up. So maybe you can do it then. I don't know. But we can try and see. So tonight we're going to be talking about the 80-20 rule. And the reason I want to talk, the reason I do that every night, I'm sorry. The reason I want to talk about it is because lately, because of the pandemic, there's a lot of dating going on. There's a lot of people who are um, getting more into their sexuality as far as exploring different things. There are people who are coming out and saying, you know, um, I like the same sex. It's just been a lot going on. And at the same time, I feel like as things are coming out, I feel like people are saying things behind the shadow, and there really hasn't been a big discussion, on the outside. And sometimes I feel like when people do start discussing it, on the outside that they sometimes say things in the wrong way. They mean well, but it might not come out in the right way. So that's why we're going to have this discussion. So, one of my favorite um, persons or people is Tyler Perry. I love Tyler Perry. I love his stories. I love what he has done as far as just taking himself from sleeping in his car to being this mogul. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love his story. And y'all know I love a good journey. I love his journey and what he's done. And so, one of the movies that Tyler Perry, because I've seen all of his movies, all of his plays, but one of the ones that really, really got my attention was Why Did I Get Married? He did a Why Did I Get Married one, and then he did another Why Did I Get Married two, like TOO. And I really, when I saw that, I was just like, it was so many things about that movie that were me. I really, really felt like he was writing a part of my story. I was just like, wow, this is incredible because the things that he had in there were so real. And the what he was really talking about when you really got deep down into it was about the 80-20 rule. Okay. The 80-20 rule. And so the question that I want to put out tonight is simply this: is one person enough? Can one person give you everything that you need in a relationship? Can they give you everything that you need? I want to ask that question because some people, male and female, that I've talked to, they've said, listen, and I'm sharing, y'all, that's why I'm looking down. They've said, listen, Doc, I like the person that I'm with, I really do, but they can't give me everything that I need. And I'm just like, okay, wow, what else do you want? Like, what else is it that you're looking for? Is my question, that you feel like you're not getting. And then when I talk to a lot of men, I've talked to a lot of men who told me that um, a lot of times they can't find everything that they want in that one woman. And there's always somebody else. It's like this one guy in particular told me that he had his main woman that he really, really loved. He really loves her. But there were four other women who were kind of making up the things that he called it her deficits, the things that she didn't have, according to him. She wasn't a person who was, this kind of lovey person. Like, I love you, sweetie. She showed her love in other ways. She showed her love by making sure that he was good, making sure that he had what he had, that the house was clean, that she was there for him, that she wasn't cheating. She was doing those kinds of things, but she wasn't verbal with her love. She didn't use terms of endearment like, baby and sweetie and honey and all. She didn't do those things. He found a woman who, and I said to him, so what, you found a woman who will say all of these things to you, but what is she not good at? Well, she wasn't good in bed. She wasn't good in bed, but she was good at filling that void and filling that need when it came to, um, the terms of endearment and stroking his ego. She was good at that. Um, the other person that he was attracted to had a really nice body because his um, fiance was I don't like using the word big, but I would say she was a plus size woman. I'll put it like that. She was a plus size woman. And so he really loved love her. He loves her size and all of that, but he also liked petite women. Women who, have that kind of hourglass figure with the boom butt in the back and like the breast up front. That's the kind of woman that he liked. So he found another woman who could fill that part of his needs, and he was attracted to her physically, and apparently she was good sexually. And so I'm listening to him saying all of this, and my thoughts are going to, this is my thought process. How do you go back to the person, like the main person that you're with, have sex with her, tell her that you love her, um, you know, you make her feel like she's the only one? Isn't that cheating? Isn't that being dishonest? Isn't that um, kind of, in a way, being disrespectful? Because you're not really giving her all of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's giving her bits and pieces of him, and then he's spreading himself around to other people. I personally don't like it, and I think that it's wrong. And I just want to ask you guys, like, do you think that it's possible to be in a relationship with one person and be able to still be satisfied sexually, be satisfied emotionally, be satisfied physically. Um, I want to have that conversation because for me, being in a situation where that has happened to me a couple of times, and it makes you feel like, and I can only speak for women, but it makes you feel like as a woman that you're not good enough for him because he's actually looking at somebody else. He's actually um, going out, almost pursuing. Like his eyes are not totally focused on you. And I'm just speaking from a woman's perspective. I don't know exactly how men would handle it, but I'm just saying, that's what I think. And I think it's wrong. I think it's really wrong to do that. And so let's look at it. Let's take a look at it because the 80/20 rule is that you have someone, male, male, female, or your partner. You could be same sex, but you have this person in your life. I'll put it like that. You have this person in your life, and they're giving you what they can give you, but it's not enough. So you have your 80. Some people hold on to their 80 and they got to go out and they got to find the 20. And as I was telling you about the one guy I spoke with, he, 80 plus 20 is what? It's 100, right? So in order to get his 100%, it was different women. He had four different women that were making up. I guess it was 10, 20, 30, 40. I don't know how he how he did the math, but that was the way that he made up for what he felt like he wasn't getting from his woman. And then you have some people who will get into these relationships with people and their eyes are constantly focused on other people. It's like they're looking at you, but they're also looking at other people. And they will sometimes get so caught up that they leave you and they go to another person. And the thing is, they realize once they get out there, you know, I left an 80 for a 20, which is what Tyler Perry brought out in his movie. And I thought the movie was fantastic. First of all, if you ever get a chance to watch it, it's Why Did I Get Married? Part He has one, and then he went back and made another one. Why Did I Get Married Too? And it's a really good movie because it shows you in the movie that there was a guy who was married to a plus size woman, and she was madly in love with him and she was doing everything that she could to be with him, but his eyes were focused on her friend who was petite, who looked like a model, who was beautiful, and she was beautiful too. But in his eyes, he's looking at this other woman because she seems like she really has it going on. And, she's this brown skinned woman, chocolate woman with long hair, and she's small. And, he's just really into her. And his attention is turning more and more away from his wife to the other woman. And he ends up, and we were talking about this last week, where he really ends up um, demeaning his woman, his wife, really treating her bad, not caring, not concerned about what she's going through, what she's thinking, what she's feeling, even embarrassing her, saying things about her weight, and just being really negative and being disrespectful at the same time because she wasn't aware that her friend was starting to have this little romance with her husband. And so it goes on and he ends up leaving his wife for this other woman. And they actually get involved. She ends up, and it was Jill Scott who actually played it. I think she did a great job. And Jill Scott actually ended up meeting someone else, falling in love with this person. And he didn't care about her weight. He didn't care about any of that. He loved her for who she was. And in the movie, towards the end, they all end up at this event. And her ex husband happens to run into her. And he sees that she's lost weight. She looks beautiful. Her confidence is back. And Now he's trying to talk to her. Now he's trying to be cordial. And during this whole process, what has happened is that he starts seeing that the woman that he went to was not who she appeared to be. Because see, sometimes we get caught up looking at what a person looks like on the outside. We get caught up in the looks, we get caught up in the sex, we get caught up in the words that they say, but we never really get to know the person. We never get to know them. And that's why I was saying last week, I've been saying it every day, that conversations are so important. It's so important to have the conversation. It's so important to talk and to let the person that you're pursuing or talking to, letting letting them know who you are and what you're all about. Because when you do that, people are able to get the real deal and they're able to see the real you. Um, and so as I was watching, it was so there were so many similarities. And when I talk to people, I can actually see how people do this in real life. You know, that was a movie, but people do this in real life. There are people who will leave what they have for what they think they want. And then once they get over on the other side, you know how they say the grass is not always greener on the other side? It's like once they get over to the other side, then they want to come back over the fence. And it's like, no, 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 no. And so, my question that I'm throwing out to everybody tonight is, the grass always greener on the other side? Also, the 80/20 rule. Can you really find everything that you need in one person? Can one person really satisfy you? I'm going to be honest with you because I really feel like, maybe because of what I've gone through, I don't think that people, I guess I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's after dark, so it's a no judgment zone. But I just don't feel like people are as committed as they once were. Um, I'm just looking at something, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why my Facebook page was acting up for a minute, and I was just going to look at it. I'm sorry. Um, I don't know why. I don't think people are as committed as they once were. I know since the beginning of time, cheating has been going on. Yes, I understand that. I do understand that. But the thing is, I feel like people, you have to really be in love. Maybe somebody needs to explain that to me. Like, are people really, really falling in love like they used to? You know? Are you falling in love so deeply that you're not looking at anybody else and you're not focused on anybody else, and that you can truly love one person? Like, is it possible? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I have lost all faith and all hope in that. I'm just being honest. I don't know that um people can do that. I really don't think so. I feel like I'm just speaking from a female's perspective and think speaking from my perspective. I'm not speaking for anyone else, but I just feel like I don't know if I were to get into a relationship, that person would be so committed to me that they're not constantly looking for another 10 or another 20 or another 30, you know? And this 80/20 rule is so true because it has happened to me where, you know, they realize, like, wow, okay, well, now I want to have a conversation with you. It's too late. It's too late. You don't leave me and then go to somebody else and then you realize, oops, I made a mistake. Then you're going to jump back over the fence. No, you stay on the other side of the fence. That's how it works. So I want to throw that question out to everybody. Can you be satisfied? Can one person really satisfy you? And I'm especially talking to the men. Is it possible? Is it possible? Because I don't think that the commitment level is there anymore. I think that people are now afraid of commitment. My personal opinion. Um, I find more and more that people just want to date. They don't really want to be in a serious relationship. I don't find too many people who are looking to get married. It's more like, let's go out, let's have fun, and that's about it. Let's have sex. You know, now that's the thing. And some guys that I've talked to, they're like, before I go into a relationship or even talk about commitment or even talk about marriage, I need to test drive that car. I need to test drive that car and make sure that, you know, when I get in the bed with this woman that she know how to put it down. And I'm like, wow, so how many test drives do you have to actually take? you know, I'm just wondering, like, how many test drives do you have to take? So, if you test drive the car, as they put it, if you test drive the car and you realize, hey, Keith, if you test drive the car and you realize that this woman ain't putting it down in the bed like it, then you move on and you test drive another car. And so that's why some of the people that I've talked to, they're like, I don't want to get locked into a relationship right now. Like they just don't want to be tied into a relationship because committing and being tied into a relationship, you might really be in it with somebody that you're not satisfied with. And of course, sex is important. Sex is high on a lot of people's list. Like if you're not good in bed, um, you know, they're going to leave, I guess is what the guys are saying. But going back to this 80/20 rule, um, I just don't know personally, as the more and more I talk to people, I just don't know if I got into a relationship, if I would just be enough. Because I feel like there's, how can I say it in a nice way? I feel like, they would always be looking around. And there's always going to be somebody out there in their eyes that they may see is better than what they have in front of them. And how many times do you go through that? Like, how many times, um, and I ask myself that question, like, how many times am I going to subject myself to that, you know? And then you decide to come back because you're like, oops, I left my 80 for this 20. Really? So, what do y'all think about that? What are your thoughts about that? The 80/20 rule. Can you really be committed to one person? I think, I'm not going to say I think, I know I can. I can be committed to one person and I can accept what you're bringing to the table. I can accept your faults. I'm willing to work through it. I'm willing to talk about it. There are certain things that are high on my list and that are higher than other things, I should say, on my list. So, those are the things that I would definitely be very vocal about. I would be clear about. I would talk about it. But I'm not the person, I can speak for myself that I'm not that person that would get into a relationship and be like, oh wow, he looks good. I think I'm gonna go over here. I think I'm gonna sneak out and go with him. All of that sneaking and stuff is just too much work. I'd rather just tell you that it ain't working and we need to move on. But people who get caught up in these situations, who find themselves in a relationship, you find yourself in a relationship, and then all of a sudden you start seeing things in this person that you don't like. And instead of having the conversation about, what's going on or why you don't like it, especially if you're married, instead of having those conversations, people step out people step out. And like the guy told me, I found I found women who would make up what my one woman wasn't giving me. And I said to him, so is that okay? Like, would you be okay if she did it? Would you be okay if she decided he ain't putting it down like I like it? So I'm gonna find a couple of guys who are doing that. Most men would not like that because what I do know about men is that once they find out that you've had sex with somebody else, it's like they don't want you anymore. But when the man goes out and has sex with somebody else and comes back, and we find out that you cheated and all of that, we're supposed to embrace you and forgive you. But men are not as forgiving, because it's like guys have told me, when they have sex with their woman and they found out another man has touched her, like that kind of messes with their head a little bit. So you think it don't mess with our head too? Like it bothers us too. We might show it in a different way, but it bothers us too. And to know that, for a woman to know that she's in a relationship with somebody and she's giving her all, especially when it comes to sex, she's giving her all, and you're in the bed pretending that it's all good, you loving it, you loving it, you loving it, you can't wait until the next time, but you really over here with homegirl over here because she really putting it down and she giving it to you like it. So you found your 10% or your 20% over here, and you're willing to leave that rather than having a conversation with the woman that's really giving you her all. You rather go over and risk it all to go over, like they said in the movie, with your 20. And I love what Jill Scott said in the movie when her ex was trying to come back and talk to her, and she made it clear, your wife is over there, your 20 is over there. And I love the way that she said it, because ladies, we have to get to a point where, we don't accept everything that comes along. We can't be okay with the fact that um men can't find all that they need to find in us, so they have to go and they have to step out and they have to go with somebody else. And I know women who know that their man is stepping out, but your self-esteem, I think, has to be really low. Your self-esteem has to be really low, and I can say that because I've been there. You have to have really low self-esteem to know that your man is saying things and doing things and kind of leaving you out, like you're the girlfriend, or you're the what do they call them, the mistress, leaving you out there to go with somebody else. Your self-esteem has to be really low. And like I said, I can say that because I've been there. I've been that woman, and my self-esteem was very low to allow that person to even do that to me. That's not okay. Because even if they don't think you're an 80, this is for male or female, even if the person that you're with doesn't think you're an 80, you got to think you're an 80. I think I'm 100. The people that look at me, people that talk to me, they may not feel like that. That's their problem, you know? But to be disrespectful, to have the disloyalty, to feel like it's okay. Hey, James, to feel like it's okay to just step out because you don't like what's going on over here. What happened to having conversations? Why can't we talk about it? Why can't we talk about it? That's the thing that like really bothers me. Like they people step out because they find their little 20 over here, leaving you, and then after they get in trouble, they want to have a conversation. No, like we should have had that conversation before. Okay, if I'm not loving you or saying the things that you need to hear, tell me. Because the thing is, when you don't say it, then we don't know what's going on. If you don't tell me that I'm not doing it, I don't know what's going on. You know, the two people who were doing their thing when I was with them, it was like they were coming back on the back end saying, "Well, you didn't do this or you didn't say that," and I'm like, "Well, you didn't tell me. Was I supposed to pull it out of the air and figure it out? Figure it out? Like you have to use your words." And so going out to get your 20, then getting caught and coming back to the 80, and you want to sit down and now have a conversation about why you stepped out. And it comes back a lot of times like it's because you didn't do such and such, or I was feeling this way and I felt like I wasn't getting what I needed, and she was talking to me and this that. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. We have to do better. And we have to learn how to use our words, especially when it talks to the married couples, because, you know, and I gotta say, it's a lot of women out here. OMG. It's a lot of women out here that I have met and seen with my own eyes and heard with my own ears telling me that they don't want to be in a committed relationship. They're fine with being the mistress. They're fine with laying in the bed with him and her and whoever, because they don't want that commitment. They don't want to be tied down. They will give you everything that you want. Coco, keep still. I'm sorry, that's my puppy. They will give you everything that you want, everything you need, minus commitment. They don't want to have a commitment. I think that is so crazy. Like I really do. And I'm like, what is going on in your life? Or what has happened? Hey Jackie, or what has happened in your life that makes you feel like it's okay to do that? You don't want a commitment. You know this person is going home to his wife or his partner or her partner, whatever, and you're okay with it. I just sometimes I'm like, what is going on in this world? Like, what exactly is going on? I can't be okay with that. I can't be okay with somebody coming through my door and we just kicking it. There's no commitment, and I know you're going back home to your wife. Like I can't. I can't. Maybe something wrong with me. I don't know, but I just can't do it. Then on the other hand, um, I've met other women who are in committed relationships. Some of them are married. And we've had conversations. I'm not gonna call any names or anything or get too deep into their stories, but um, they just said they do love the person that they're with. They love that person. They love that man. Which I got to question a little bit too. I got like three question marks behind that. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But they love the man that they with, so they say, and they feel like at the same time, at the same time in loving them that the person is not giving them everything that they need. For example, there's one lady who is married. They have a child. And her I think her husband is a really nice guy from what I can see. Of course, I don't live in a house with them, but I think he seems to be a really nice guy. But she said that he's nice, but financially, he's not able to, I guess, bring home the money that she would like for him to bring home or give her the life that she would like to have. So she goes on these secret dates with a guy who's a little bit older than her, and he gives her what she wants. He gives her money. He buys her gifts. I actually saw a couple of the gifts that he bought, and she's able to explain her whereabouts and her, you know, some of her gifts because she's good at it. And at the same time, she said she loves her husband. The person who's giving her the gifts, who's taking her out, who's doing these things for her, that's not somebody that she wants to marry. That's not somebody that she wants to be in a relationship with. But she loves the fact that he's able to fill that void that she has financially, of just showering her with gifts. They meet for lunch, they do different things, and and she's married. I question, and I've said to her, you know, I've questioned why you say you love him, because when you love somebody, you don't do that. That's what I think. You know, you don't do that. If your man is out there working and he's bringing his money home, as she says that he does, he's bringing his money home, and it's like before you married him, didn't you know how much money he was making? you know, I mean, there's so many questions that I have, and that's why I keep saying have the conversation, because if you want your man to make, or your person, the person in your life that you're going to marry, if you want them to make six figures, That needs to be talked about before you get married. So you don't get into this situation where you feel like, okay, he's not able to meet my needs financially and give me what I want. So I'm gonna go out and get, he is an 80. He's an 80. He really he might be a 90. But I'm gonna what he can't give me, I'm gonna step out and go get it from somebody else. That's wrong. That's wrong, y'all. Come on, that's wrong. And I had to tell the sister that. I'm like, I'm just saying, me personally, I think it's wrong. Um, I've also met men like that. Men who, and a lot of the men that I've spoken with, their thing is sex. Like the one guy said when he first got into a relationship with his now wife, they were sexually active, like they were going at it, a couple times a day, and almost every night they're going at it. And as time went on and they started having children, she went back to school. And being a mother, that alone is a lot of work. But she started going back to school, and the sex was less and less. And so he started feeling bad. He was getting in his feelings like, she's giving all this time to the kids, she's going to school, and now I don't feel like my needs are being fulfilled. So what did he do? He stepped out and he started seeing other women and got involved in sexual relationships. They did end up, she did end up finding out. They separated for a little bit. They are back together now, but they are a work in progress, and they will tell you that they're a work in progress because she's still hurt. And she said to him, and I was privy to the conversation, and what she was saying to him is, look, we were like 20 something when we got married. Now we're in our 30s, two kids later, in school, have a house, we have these bills, both of us are working. I come home, I'm tired. By the time I lay in the bed, get the kids from school, feed them, do homework, I'm tired. And she was explaining it to him, and he was just kind of like, I get it, but you knew that I had a high libido when we got married. So this was his question to her. He said, so what do you expect me to do? Because my libido is still high. What do you expect me to do? Do you expect me to just kind of sit here and be okay with the fact that you're tired and you can't perform? What am I supposed to do? I felt at that moment that he wasn't hearing her. He really wasn't hearing her. She was pouring her heart out and saying to him, I am giving you as much as I can give you. And a lot of times we want more. We don't understand that if a person says, this is how much I can give you, I don't have any more, that's it. The cup is full. There's nothing else that they can give you. So now you have to make a decision. Do I leave my wife, who is really like my ride or die, giving me all that she can give me, or we could put the husband in the place? Do I leave this person because my needs are not being fulfilled like I need them to, and go over here and get what I need and risk losing it all? Or do I stay here and try to work it out? That's the question. That's the question. People can only give you what they have. And after that, if you're looking for some more, you ain't going to get it. They can only give you what they have. Steve Copeland says, I always cheated in my marriage. It wasn't that I cheated on them. I learned later. I feel weak. I okay. I feel weak to my feelings and emotions. In reality, I cheated on myself, not my wives. Um, he says, let me read that again because I want to make sure I'm reading it right. He says, I always cheated in my marriage. It wasn't that I cheated on them. I learned later I was weak to my feelings and emotions. And in reality, I cheated on myself. I got it. I got that. I got that. So you were in a relationship where you weren't happy, and instead of dealing with what was going on in the correct way, you went out and started cheating, and You hey, we cause a lot of pain on ourselves when we do things the other way. Yes. Okay. So I got it. Okay. Yeah. We end up a lot of times hurting ourselves and not so much the other people. We do hurt the other person, but in actuality, we're hurting ourselves even more. And Jackie says, when you become one in your marriage, not only are you hurting yourself, you're hurting the other person. Exactly. Exactly. So you could be hurting because, like this guy is saying, he wasn't getting, as much sex as he used to. His ego's hurting, his pride is hurting. He wants to get what he wants to get, not really considering her feelings. And there were so many different things that could have, so many conversations, I'm sorry, that could have come out of what she was saying. For one, he could have said to her, okay, so what can I do to help? What can I do to help in this situation so that we can get back to who we were? Maybe instead of you putting the kids to bed every night, getting bathing them and doing homework and all of that, maybe I can do it. And then that would give us some more time. Maybe I can drop the kids off at school. Maybe I can wash the clothes. Maybe I can. What can you do? The only thing I heard him saying was that you're just not giving me as much sex as you used to. So you're talking about me, and not really acknowledging what your wife is saying. Keith said women have so many excuses not to make love to their husbands. Not to make love to their husbands. Can the husband stop paying the bills when she's not having enough sex from his wife? What, Keith? What? Keith, come on. You said women have so many excuses not to make love to their husband. Can the husband stop paying the bills when she's not having enough sex? Like, this is what I'm saying. I think, I think men have sex on the brain. I really do. Because for a woman, of course, we love having sex, but when you have kids, when you have working, you're going to school, you have your husband, you got your house to take care of, you got to cook, you got to clean, you got to wash clothes. Like, our list is endless. We have so many things on our list. And I don't think for a lot of women, and women correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think for a lot of women that sex is like at the top of the list. But I think for men, like, sex is on the brain. I think that men could see their woman in a trash bag and think of sex. It's just like they're constantly thinking about sex and not understanding. Like, I get Keith's point about saying that women make excuses. Maybe it's not an excuse, Keith. Maybe the woman is tired. Maybe the woman is doing a lot. Maybe it's something that the man can step in. Like I said a few minutes ago, maybe it's something where the man can step in and say, look, babe, is there anything that I can do to help, so we can get back to where we were. I think for a lot of men, you don't really express yourselves and you don't really come out and say how you're really feeling until you're in so much pain or you've made a mistake. And that's, by that time, emotions, tensions, everything is involved. And so those conversations need to be had as you're going along when you're in these relationships, because if you know what's going on inside of you and how you're feeling and how you're bothered, but I don't, how is it that I'm nagging, or I'm getting on your nerves, or I'm not being responsive to your needs when you don't say anything? You know what I mean? Like, it's so important to use your words and say exactly how you feel. That's why I said, if I ever get into another relationship, my man is going to have to know how to talk, because I am, I'm a quiet person. I know y'all probably don't believe that because you see me talking all the time, but I'm a quiet person, but I'm a talker. I'm a person that will talk out how I'm feeling, because I want you to know how I'm feeling, and then I want to know how you're feeling. And I want to always make sure that I'm checking in. So if I'm not doing something that I'm supposed to do, we've had enough conversations where you can freely come to me and say, you know what, babe, you're like, what's going on? We're not doing some of the things that we used to do. Like, I just think that's important. Outside of that, I think that sometimes people just think the grass is greener on the other side. And when you get out there, you find out that it ain't real grass all the time. Sometimes it's just like, what do they call it, astroturf, the stuff that they I know was when I was in Vegas. Like, if you've ever been to Vegas, you'll notice that they don't have trees, they don't have grass, they don't have any of that because it's so hot out there. So a lot of people will have their grass, trees, and all of that flown in and put down, but it's not real. And so a lot of times when you decide that you're going to leave your 80 or your 90 or your 100 that you got at home to go over there to the 10 or the 20 or whatever you want to call it, you're going to find out that the grass is not always greener on the other side. And sometimes when you want to climb that fence and come back over, you can't come back. It ain't no coming back. And so, what do you, let me ask the question one more time because I know some of you came in late because I'm about to close out. But the 80/20 rule, answer this question for me because I don't see it anywhere in the comments. Is it possible to be in a relationship with somebody and be able, I'm talking about be able to be satisfied with that one person? Because we're not perfect. So and then you have two imperfect beings coming together to unite as a couple. So whether you get married or you're living together or whatever, is it possible to be able to be in a relationship with somebody and be totally content and get everything that you need? I'm on the fence with that because not that I feel like I wouldn't be able to get it, but I feel like if I go into another relationship, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like guys now have that commitment. I don't feel like their commitment level is there to the point where they would just be totally committed to me. I don't think so. So that's why I remain single. Just a confession of mine tonight, because I feel like there are, and it's kind of sad to say, but I see a lot of women out here who just accept any and everything. They will do any and everything. Not all of them, but a lot of women do. And it has to do with your self esteem and where you are in life. And I see some men who, I'm going to use the phrase taking advantage, where you take advantage of that, and because they're giving you what you want, and being disrespectful in leaving the person who's giving you everything and feeling like they're giving you all that they have. And because you're not expressing to them that, this is missing or I'm not happy about this, they don't really know what's going on. It just causes a lot of confusion. Steve Copeland says sex was never a problem in my marriage. It was some unresolved issues in my own life. Never bring old baggage into your new relationship. I've been saying that all week long. Empty those suitcases. And Keith says yes. So Keith is saying yes, you can find, really, Keith? He's saying that you can find everything. He's saying he can. He believes that you can find everything that you need in one person without stepping out to get it from somebody else. And I think as we all go into relationships and as we get older, that really, Steve Copeland says, yes, you can be able to commit. That's nice that you guys are saying that. That's really nice. And I know there's people out there like that. I think it's just my the way I feel about it. I don't think it's possible for people to do that. Maybe just because of what I've been through. Keith says men are more loyal in a relationship than women. What? Men are. Sometimes I think Keith is just saying stuff just to get me going. He said men are more loyal in a relationship than women. What? I'm kind of on the fence with that, Keith. I don't know if men are more loyal in a relationship than women. Hmm. I guess it's the way that you look at it, but I would say that there's disloyalty on both sides. I'll put it like that. I don't know if men are more loyal because I personally feel like, and these are my personal feelings, I personally feel like men have the opportunity. Okay, it's like you guys are in a candy store. Okay, it's like you guys have a candy store. You get to pick and choose all colors, shapes, and sizes, put them back, go get another one, taste it, go put that back, go get another one. Like you, because it's more of us than we have to choose of you. So you get to pick and choose, and that's why I don't feel like men can be really loyal, because you have to be a really focused man and somebody who is super committed not to have your eyes turn from over here to go over there and then decide that you want to kind of, check it out. You gotta be super loyal. I don't know that I really believe that men are that loyal anymore. Maybe that's some more work that I have to do on myself. Keith said a man was struck by his woman. If she loses her job, let a man lose his job, you're ready to kick him to the curb. No, I don't think so. I disagree with that, because listen, I know a lot of women, especially during this pandemic, whose husbands have lost their jobs and they can't get unemployment, and these women are holding them down. And that's what I'm talking about. When the rubber hits the road and things start happening, you see how much that person really loves you and cares for you. You either gonna roll out or you're gonna stick it out, and you're gonna say, you know what, we're in this together. I'm gonna hold this down until you're able to get your job. I did it in my marriage. When my husband lost his job, my ex-husband lost his job. It wasn't a question. It was like, hey, I'm gonna do my work and do what I gotta do. And he one thing I will say about him is that he always had held a job, um, you know, and he went right back out there. He found a job, and we kept it moving. But yeah, I was out there, working two jobs to make sure everything was good. So I think that, and it's sad. Now, if men and women are doing that, you roll out just because somebody loses their job. I think that's sad, and that just shows, like, I don't know, like, there's no commitment, because problems are going to come. What if that person gets sick and you got to be in there taking care of everything, the bills, the kids, the everything, until this person gets back on their feet? And somebody told me yesterday, as a matter of fact, that there was a couple, some friends of theirs. The woman got cancer, and as her cancer progressed, he filed for divorce and left her. And that's just cruddy. That's just downright cruddy. And karma is gonna come back. I said, well, he might, we never know where he might end up. But you gotta watch how you treat people. Steve says sex was a major addiction to me. It was a lot of pain I knew I would feel, but I cheated anyway and cried over the pain of cheating. I think men, this is Steve, he said, I think men cheat more than women. I was fed misinformation from the older guys. It's a poor rat to have one hole to run in, yeah, to run into in and out of. Okay, so he says a poor rat hole when you're running in and out of. And yeah, Keith, finances is the most common reason for breaking up. Another reason people break up and they try to stay together is the loss of a child. And in my studies, I was seeing that more and more, that people who lose children, a lot of times it's difficult for them to stay together and remain in that relationship, and they end up going their separate ways over, the loss, which is really sad. And something that Steve said, he said, I think men cheat more than women. Well, he's a man, he would know. I can't really speak. I think so too, but I'm just saying it from a female perspective. And the fact that he said that, and thank you for being transparent, the fact that he's saying that he was addicted to sex. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. The last person that I dealt with a few years back, he was addicted to sex, not with me, but with other people. And that's hurtful because what I would always say to him is that if we have sex, it's never going to be enough because your addiction outweighs anything that I could give to you because you are so addicted and you got to have it. And if you don't get it, you're going to go out there. You're going to go out there. And he did. He did. And so, and we're going to talk about addictions one night, not just drug addiction, which people harp on all the time. There's a lot of different addictions. I'm addicted to Amazon, shopping all the time. Keith said, I disagree. Women just know how to cheat better. Okay. Okay. Any women out here when they comment on what Keith said, he said women know how to cheat better. What I will say, I think that as women, I think we are more, um, you know, we could work for the CIA and we can find out information on y'all that y'all be scratching your head like, how did she find that out? Oh, we have ways. Women have ways of getting information. So there probably are women out here who cheat. I know some of them who cheat, like I said about the lady whose husband is not meeting her needs financially, but she says she loves him, and he's doing the best that he can, but she's getting her needs met financially, not sexually, but financially from another man, and the man is comfortable with being in her life, not um, worrying about a commitment or anything like that because he doesn't want to be in a relationship, committed to a relationship. He just wants to be out there. And then he has her that he is loving the fact that he can give her what she needs financially. And then he has other women that he's having sex with. It's just all crazy to me. And I don't really get it. And I don't want to get it. I don't want to get it, but I think, you know, that we got to remember this, everybody, that everybody has feelings. Everybody has feelings. And we have to be careful that when we go, and this is what I really want to, bring home to everybody. When we decide to go into relationships with people, we gotta remember that, you're dealing with a whole person, people who have feelings. They have feelings. And so if you know that you have a problem with commitment, if you know that you've been this person, hey Abhijit, how are you from India? How you doing? Wow, you all the way from India. Um, if you know that you are going into a relationship with somebody and you have a sexual addiction, you know that going in, okay? You know that going in. So if you know going into a relationship that you have a sexual addiction, don't you also understand that that person will never be able to meet your needs sexually because you have an addiction? And so all you're doing is going into a relationship, creating more hell than that needs to happen. You're bringing it into the relationship. This person is ready to go. This person doesn't know that part about you because you haven't had that conversation. You haven't put it out there. And so they're bringing you into their life, arms open wide, only to find out that you still have a need. Whatever I give you sexually is still not enough. You still complaining. You're still on my back. You're still nagging. And that's because you have an addiction. You have an addiction. And those are things that need to be talked about. If you're a person who grew up, I know men, as a matter of fact, a friend of mine, as I told you when I first started this about a week ago, he committed suicide not too long ago. And we weren't in a sexual, we were just friends. I called him my brother. We were just friends. The one thing that would hinder him in his relationship with women is that he wanted what he didn't get from his mom. And I would always tell him, stop putting that on other women. Your mom was abusive. Your mom, she had some issues. She was addicted to drugs, and just he grew up in a crazy household. So the things that he wanted from his mom, hugs, kisses, I love you, you're great, you're handsome, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. He didn't get those affirmations. He didn't get that love. And so every time he would get into a relationship, he was on 10. Like, you had to do that in a relationship. And if you didn't, he was gone, or he was throwing a fit, or it was a problem, or it was this, or it was that. And I would always tell him, stop putting that on other women. They're not your mom. They're not going to be able to give you what you didn't get. You just have to go from here. And the one thing that you have to do too is go and get therapy, go get some help before you step into another relationship, because he was causing so much pain and stress and anxiety to these women that he was getting into a relationship with, because they're sitting there trying to figure out, okay, what did I not give to him? What did I not give to him? In the end, he ended up dating a woman who was addicted to crack, and it brought out his addictions that he had been over for years. And he ended up he started using again. He went right back to what hurt him and what caused all of the pain in his life. And shortly after that, he committed suicide. So we have to be really careful about the baggage that we keep walking around with, that we expect other people to unpack for us. No, that's your baggage. And even in my own life, I've had to tell myself over and over again and constantly talk to myself that I will never, ever in this life unpack anybody's baggage but my own, because I spent a lot of years trying to unpack other people's baggage. And all you do is get hurt because they're not dealing with it, they're not unpacking. You are. And so, yes, Keith, exactly. That's what happens when you don't ask questions. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Steve said, remember, it's always underlying issues, underlying deep issues, like being raped or molested as a child, male or female. That's true. And we talked about that last week. We had a night when we talked about molestation and how it leaves you and what happens if you don't get help. Like, conversations. And I hope for me doing these after dark shows and having these really deep discussions that people will begin to understand just how important conversations are. If you're going to go into a relationship, have that conversation. You know, if that person has been molested but they haven't gotten help, I can tell you from personal experience that there's going to be times that they don't want to be touched. There's going to be times when they don't want to have sex. And depending on what kind of sex that you want to have, it may really turn them off. So if you don't have that conversation to find out what was your past like, when was your last relationship, like what happened in your relationship, why are you single, you know I'm gonna be clear. Like, if I ever go into another relationship about why for the past almost 3 years I've been by myself. I'm gonna be real clear, you know, and in letting that person know, because when you're clear, when you give that clarity, you allow the other person the opportunity to make a decision. Now, do I want to be with Charlene and she ain't been with nobody in 3 years? What's going on with that? Do I really want to be with her? You give that person the opportunity to make a decision about whether or not they want to bring you into their life. But when you come with these false pretenses and you're not really saying anything and you looking good on the outside, I see a lot of beautiful black men. But I'm at an age now where I'm like, I need to know what's going on in your head. And I need to know what's happening in your life before we take this any further, because this may not be what I want to do. And I think we really have to be clear about that. Hey, Leslie, she says most people do not want to talk about their real issues. They don't, Leslie. They really, really don't. And that's the reason why I'm doing these after dark shows. Y'all make sure y'all share the videos. This is the reason I'm doing the after dark shows, because I really find that people don't want to have those conversations. And that's why it was big for me to really learn about mental health, why we act the way that we do, why do we say the things that we do, why are we putting up this front? Like, if you if you have some serious issues that are going on in your life or some things that have happened in your life, I'm not saying blast it to the universe, but what I am saying is, if you find somebody that you're really interested in, don't you think you owe it to them to say, I'm a serial cheater, or I'm a serial dater, or I was raped, I was molested? Have the conversation. Because, I talk to a lot of guys, and when they're just being really vague about, their life, I completely check out. I just really check out, because if this is the way the conversation is going to go, I'm done. I'm just kind of waiting for the time to pass. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. Hey, Jonathan from Uganda. Mwah, mwah. That's my son, y'all, from Uganda. Hey, Jonathan. Good morning from Uganda. It is 11:58 in the States. I'm where I'm at. It's 11:58 Eastern Standard Time. And so we got to be really careful about what we're doing, you know, because if you don't have those conversations, and I promise you, I'm not rich, but I promise you, if you don't have those conversations and you pissed off because you feel like you're not getting what you're supposed to get from this person in your life, and you jump that fence and you go over there and get that 20, I promise you, you're gonna be looking back, because you're gonna realize that what you thought you left, what you thought you were leaving to go get, is not what you really wanted. I have seen that over and over and over again. They jump the fence, and you know what I say? See you, because you will not come back over here. You can climb the fence, you can get caught. What, you will not come back over here, okay? Because if you're not willing to have the conversation, and it's easier for you to jump the fence, then just keep jumping. And that's what we have to understand too. When people can't sit down, if we're in a relationship and it's more easier for you to sneak, jump over the fence, to be texting, and doing all of this stuff in the background, and it's easier for you to do that, it's better for you to go, because you're not committed to the relationship anyway. You've already checked out. It's simple. Hey, Jason. He said, honesty coming into a relationship is important to it. Absolutely. I've been saying it all week, Jason. Absolutely. Honesty coming into a relationship is important to its foundation. You know, you can have sex with a person all you want to. Ooh, baby, this is good. Ooh, get me right here. Ooh, do it right there. Come over here. Ooh, this feel good. And you haven't had any conversation. Like, all you know is, ooh, baby, this feels good. I like it when you do it this way. Let's go. You got to have the conversation, because sex is going to get old. I know you may not, it may be good, but after a while, if all you know about me is that I like to be in this position, that position, bent over, standing up, hanging over the table, if If that's all you know about me, our relationship is going nowhere. Because when it's time to sit down and have those real critical conversations, we're not going to be able to do it. And I actually know some people who, thank you, Jonathan. I actually know some people who know that they need to have conversations. I have to be careful how I say things because these people know that I'm talking about them, but I don't want to, I'm not going to use their names or put too much of their stories out there. But they do know that I'm sharing some of their stuff. But instead of having the conversations that they know that they need to have, they will have sex. And it's just like they had sex and then that's it. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like they just they cover it with sex. And I try to tell them that after a while it's going to get old. And after a while the void in you is going to feel like you need somebody to talk to. You need to be heard. And it's not always about let's jump in bed and have sex. You're going to come to a point in your relationship where you're saying, you know what, I need to be heard. And I feel like I'm not being heard. And I feel like the way that you want to deal with everything is let's have sex. And that's not for me. I'm not feeling that anymore. Those things are going to happen. So, anyway, I hope that you all enjoyed what we talked about tonight, the 80/20 rule. Think about it. Before you get into a relationship, if you know that you have issues, if you know that you're looking for a certain thing in someone, have the conversation first. I'm not going to be all in when I first meet you. I'm not. I'm not going to be all in because we need to have some conversations before I'm all in. And based on our conversations, that will tell me whether or not I need to be all in and if I need to proceed further with the relationship. Conversations are important, very important. And if you're in a relationship, hear me on this one. If you're in a relationship, especially married, and you're even thinking about stepping out because you just, it ain't working no more. Have you had the conversation? Have you tried to go to counseling, get therapy? Have you looked in the mirror to see if there's something going on with you that you need to work on? Have you done everything that you need to do to ensure that you've worked everything out and you've covered all the bases? Have you done that? If you haven't, do that. Do that before you cross that fence. Okay? Do that before you start looking over here and looking over here at these 20s. Okay? Because you're going to find out, brother and sister, like they say in church, that it might not be what you think it is. And maybe all you need to do is have a conversation. Keith says the 80/20 rule is only in the imagination of the one. Ooh, I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that. He said the 80/20 rule is only in the imagination of the one who's not satisfied. Oh my goodness. Keith, I love that. I love that. Did you guys hear that? I got to read it again. The 80/20 rule is only in the imagination of the one who's not satisfied. I might have to pay you for that, Keith, so I can use it. I love that. That is so true. That is so true. Wow. Okay. So just make sure, everybody, that you do what's best for you, especially with the pandemic going on. And that's why I'm doing these after dark shows, so we can just talk about stuff and get it off our chest. Child, ain't nothing secret anymore. Everybody talking about everything. That's why I just go ahead and put my stuff out there. Because if they say Lady J did it, Lady J done already told you that she did it. It's already out there. Um, it's already out there. So, um, yeah, I like that, Keith. I really do. But guys, here's the thing. During this pandemic, I just want everybody to be healthy and whole. Make sure that you're doing all that you can to um, keep your mind where it's supposed to be. And a lot of times, the way that you can relieve a lot of the tension, the stress, the pain, the anxiety with your partner or the person that's in your life, it's just having that conversation. Having that conversation and finding out where the other person is, because a lot of times when you have the conversation, you will find that sometimes things are not what you think they are. And just by having a conversation, it can change the whole dynamic of the situation or whatever is going on. So I've learned that it's so important to use your words, and running from it and having the conversation with somebody else, it's not a good thing. It doesn't work out. And just remember, the person that you run to, if they're allowing you to run up in their bed and up in their house and up in their space, and they know that you have somebody, y'all know the rest of that. Y'all know the rest of that. They're going to do the same thing to you. So if you're thinking about leaving what you have to go for what you think you want, just understand the same thing that they're allowing you to do with them, they will do that with somebody else. So the 80/20 rule, that's out the window for me. That's out the window for me. If I can't be your 100, then we can't be. And I think that's how we all have to look at ourselves. Look at yourself and just say, if I can't be your 100, then I can't be. You got to love yourself more, everybody. You got to love yourself more. And you got to be willing to be without and wait for what is to come. And that's the position I put myself in. I'm willing to be without a man until the right one comes along. And if he doesn't come along, it's still good because I love myself enough to wait and give myself the very best. We don't have to accept any and everything that comes along. Love yourself more. You are 100. You're not 80. For those of you out here being the 20 and the 10, I'm gonna help you out too. Look in the mirror and find out why are you devaluing yourself? Why are you devaluing yourself down to being a 20, a 10, a 9, a 8? What's wrong with you? Go get some help. Call me. Go get some therapy, get some treatment. Don't ever let anybody put you in that category. Whether you want to be in a committed relationship or not, don't ever let somebody put you in a category where they're leaving over here, not actually leaving, because they're going back. They're leaving you. They're coming to you to fill that small void, but they're going back over here. They're going back because they know. And when it comes down to the wire to make a decision, they ain't leaving what they have for you. If you make a demand, chances are they ain't leaving. They're going to leave you out there, but they're going to go back to what they have. So stop devaluing yourself. Stop being so easy. Stop making it okay for them to come in. Close that door up and let them know that you're no longer doing that anymore. You are 100. And if nobody thinks that you are, then that's on them. That's on them. Hey, that's what I say. Jason says, what about those who agree with a polygamous relationship? What's your thoughts? Hey, Jason, we just did this show. We did that show on um Friday? No, Thursday. We did that show on Thursday night. We talked about that. So go back. I'll send you the link. But quickly, I'll tell you my thoughts on it. My thoughts are that if that's what you like to do, and if everybody is in agreement with it, where they they are comfortable. I can't even get it out. They are comfortable with, females are comfortable with their man having more than one wife, then um hey, God bless you. But Lady J, mm-mm, I ain't sharing nobody. The only man I'm going to share is Jesus, okay? Outside of that, Lady J don't share. And I'm a pretty giving person. I'll give you a shirt off my back. But I ain't sharing my man. And so, no, I don't agree with that. But there are people who do that. They're in agreement. Somehow they've worked it out. And God bless them. But, honey, when I go lay in my bed, I don't want to know that you down the street laying in her bed and we taking turns and all of that. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. I don't want you turning no doorknobs except mine. Okay? So, so Jason, that's my answer to that question. I'm just keeping it real. That's my answer to that question. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, no, sir. Keith said to 100, what never works, give yourself a 90, some room to grow with another 90. I got you, Keith, but I'm a 100, okay? And I'm a 100. I'm a 100. Now, do I have things to work on? Of course, we all do. But you're 100 too. You're 100 too. We all have things to work on. Um, I'm gonna leave it right there because that's gonna go into another show. But yeah, we all are 100. I ain't no 90 because again, if I tell you I'm a 90, then you coming as a man, you think you got 10% to work with. Then that's gonna be a problem. Okay, Keith, was you watching the show, Keith? That's gonna be a problem. So no, I'm a 100. When you come into the relationship, you will know this is all 100. Okay, 100, 100. Now, if you want to do some deductions, I'm gonna show you where the door is at, and it's adios, okay? But no, I'm a 100. But yeah, thank you, Keith. Keith is always. I think Keith just likes to get me going. I think that's what it is. But it's good. It's good. And yeah, so yeah, Jason, I'll send you the link for that. Um, he said, oh, I didn't see that. He said there's a brother who is online and he has a wife and a girlfriend. You know what? I know who you're talking about. It's a show on Lifetime, and this guy is black. I don't know what's wrong with black people these days. Because I think when I was growing up, maybe I'm sure polygamy was going on, but they didn't talk about it. But what black man wants to be in a house? Ain't one black woman enough? Y'all say that we a lot to deal with, but they talking about I don't think men know what they want. They say that we talk too much, that we're aggressive, but when that libido starts talking, I guess it's okay to have two or three black women in the house. Or maybe he's mixing it up. But I know exactly who you're talking about. But I know that's right. Jason said, I agree, ain't sharing. Nope, I ain't sharing. And if that's the problem, then they can keep right on walking because I'm not sharing. Nope. And Jason said, to truly love someone, you accept that they are imperfect. You accept it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. Yes. Yes. Because everything about us is not, you know, like I said, like Keith said, we all have something to work on. Yes, we do. We all have something that we need to work on. We all do. But you accept it all. I mean, we're all going to be in relationships, or some of you may be in relationships now, and you might be with somebody and they don't have, when you look at them, they don't have everything that you want. Like the average woman is, we're not all size. So I never wore a size two, a size two anything. So, you're not going to find a woman out here that's a size two and, small. That's not your average woman. So if that's what you're looking for, then, go for that. But don't have a woman who may be a plus size and you sitting up here looking at this woman over here that's a size two. I mean, we just we gotta really make sure that we got it all together, because some of the stuff that I hear is just crazy, and it's hurtful because you put people in positions that they don't need to be in, when all you had to do was have that conversation. So, for example, like, for me, if I'm talking to somebody or somebody's talking to me, I'm like, look, what you get is what you get. Okay. Some days, like, I need to go back to the gym. I'm going back to the gym because during school, y'all, I was snacking and snacking like it was going out of style. And I need to go back to the gym because my pants and stuff is getting a little tight. And ladies, when your bra start getting tight, you need to go back to the gym. So I'm just like, when I talk to guys, I just keep it real. Like, some days you may see me with uh short hair because my natural hair is short. You may see me with short hair, or you may see me with a wig on. Okay, you get what you get, but understand the package that you're getting. Okay, but I'm going to keep it so 100 with you. Maybe that's why I don't have nobody. Maybe that's why, because I just keep it 100, and some people can't accept that. Maybe that's why. They just not ready. They want to know everything about you, and then you start telling them, and then they like, it's a little bit too much. So, but anyway, I'm just being silly, y'all. But I'm serious. Like, I have to have that conversation. You have to know. I think when you get to a certain age, especially my age, when you get to a certain age, it's no more playing, it's no more games, because I don't have that much time ahead of me. Like, the time that I used to have to play with, I don't have that time no more. I have, and people like my friends say, stop saying that. But when you think about it, like, you have less time ahead of you as you get older. So it's no more playing games. We're either going to be real or we're not going to be real. I'm not going to date you for 10 years, and because you got to figure out this and you got to figure out that. At our age, we have dated, we have talked to enough people, we have made enough stupid mistakes to know whether or not we need to be together. It ain't going to take 10 years. And if it's going to take 10 years, I will show you where the door is at. Because we should be able to be at a point now where we're able to have some conversations and talk and laugh and go out and do different things and get to know each other. We done it all. We've already done a whole bunch of stuff. So, mm-mm. So anyway, y'all, I'm done. I hope that you really got something out of what we talked about tonight. Thank you to those who have been, like, Keith has been here like Keith has been here every night. So thank you, Keith, for joining me. Keith says compatibility. Oh yeah, we definitely have to be compatible, because I can be really silly because I like having fun and I like being serious. And those are things that people have to know about you. Um, because people, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to go. People will sometimes fall in love with who they see on the screen or who they see on social media. Um, they fall in love with that person, and for me, like, you know, before I started doing all of this radio stuff, which started in 2019, I'm a singer. I sing. And so a lot of guys would fall in love with my voice. And we would go out and we would talk and all kinds of stuff. And they were just like, can you sing to me? I ain't come here to sing. I came here to eat, you know? And so sometimes I would just be like, no, I don't want to sing. Like, I want to eat. I've had guys get mad at me because they're just like, Well, you're up here singing for everybody else because I used to travel and sing and all of that. You're up here singing with everybody else, but you don't never want to sing for me because I didn't come here to sing for you. We're supposed to be bowling or we're supposed to be eating or doing whatever or watching or at the movies. I ain't come to sing to you. And so people sometimes fall in love with what they see on the screen. I've had men DM me on a regular every single freaking day. And I keep telling them this is not a dating app. So don't expect any response. Just don't. And if you live all the way over in across the seas, definitely, because I don't do no long distance dating at all. So, people have this perception of who they think you are. And then when you go out with them or you spend time with them, they're like, oh, I thought you were this. Oh, I thought you were that. No, get to know me. Get to know who I am. You know, my name on here and is Lady J. My name is over here is Dr. J. My name when I go sing is Charlene Jenkins. Get to know me because and I'm the pastor's daughter. I got all these names, but get to know who I am. And that's the point that I'm trying to get across. Get to know the person that you want to be in that relationship with. Because all this other stuff doesn't matter. Lady J, Dr. J, Charlene J, the pastor's daughter, the person over here, Eric's mom. None of this matters. It's who I am. Get to know who I am. Okay? And then you'll find out after you peel back all the layers that I'm just me. I'm just me. Singing something I like to do. I love being Eric's mom. Yes, I'm the pastor's daughter. Yes, I went to school to be Dr. J. But at the end of the day, I'm just me. And it's so much more to me than what you see on the screen or what you see in social media or what you see me doing. Get to know the person that's in front of you. And Jason says, if you look hard at something long enough, you'll find flaws or even pass judgment on it. We got to stop trying to find Mr. or Miss Right for your future and learn to live in the now. Build a relationship and a friendship. Yes, yes, I love it, Jason. I love it. Do they have any more? Do they have any more Jasons and Keiths out there? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something because y'all saying all the right stuff tonight. But I'm just being silly. I'm just being silly. But no, y'all actually are saying the right stuff because this is why this is absolutely why I wanted to have these conversations. And who knows, maybe some of the people that are watching, y'all come close. Maybe some of the people that y'all watching, if y'all pay attention, you might meet somebody on here after dark with Dr. J. You might meet somebody on here because you never know. It's not a dating app, but you don't know. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. So anyway, everybody have a great night. Tomorrow we'll be back at 10:30 tomorrow night, and we're going to have another conversation about something deep. And bring your thoughts. And like I said, it's a no judgment zone. We're here to have fun, but we're also here to learn, and we're also here to just know how to be able to communicate and basically live our best life because you don't want to fulfill somebody else's life and make them happy and you're not happy in the process. So the whole thing about After Dark with Dr. J is just getting to love the skin that you're in, being happy about who you are. And if you find somebody in the process, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I love love. I actually do. I love love. So if you find somebody in the process, hey, go for it. But that's what we're here for. Just learning about, especially during the pandemic, learning about what we need to do to be whole and having these conversations because this pandemic is tough. It's really tough. And we've all gone through a lot with this pandemic. So just to be able to come aside and talk and laugh and get those feelings out after dark. One thing, just a reminder, make sure that your children or anybody under 16 or 17, well, 17. They understand all of this. But some of the stuff that we talk about is this is not a kid friendly zone. And so that's why I try to do it at 10:30 or after 10:30, because I don't want to say anything that would be offensive to your children or say things that they don't need to hear. So guys, have a great night. My name is Dr. J, and this has been After Dark with Dr. J. We were talking about the 80-20 rule, okay? Remember, you're 100, you're 100 regardless to what anybody say. Do the work on you. Love the skin that you're in. And I'll see you tomorrow night on After Dark. Good night, everybody.